'Cause there is life abundance, life.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Karmys Corner, where we discuss everything esports. And today, we're talking about a topic that I'm excited for because I'm addicted to this game, and that is Stormgate. It's an upcoming RTS game by Frost Giant Studios. It's currently in the closed beta. They just announced or just finished up their most recent closed alpha. And then during the Steam Next Fest, you're able to play the game for a week without having a beta key. And it's off to a great start so far, I think. They have a shit ton of backers on Kickstarter, which was mostly just for the collector's edition items that came with it. But yeah, this game so far is incredible. Just unbelievable game. I've been so addicted to it. I played like 100 games in the past weekend, which is pretty bad considering I had a lot of work to do. But sometimes the sacrifice is worthwhile, you know? I had a lot of fun. I peaked Diamond 3. I just got it. I have to travel for work tomorrow. So unfortunately, that's probably the peak I'm going to get for this first closed beta patch segment. But I think they're coming back out with another one in middle of April. So hoping to get some more time to grind it then as well, because this game is fantastic. So on the topic today, is this going to save the RTS genre and kind of esports as a whole? Realistically, if we've all kind of been in the space recently that esports is going through a bit of a dry spell, if you will, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think it's just the circumstances with where we're at, some growing concerns, or not concerns, but some growing pains, I guess we should say. But realistically, at the end of the day, once we get past it all and we kind of forge a new path within this industry, I think it's going to be good in the long run. But there is no doubt that it is a bit of a rough spot right now, right? I think that has a lot to do with the fact that there's not very many new, exciting like AAA games that have kind of taken off, right? I think the last one was Valorant, right? And we've seen that had a massive success with its online community, with all of its fans, had a great tier 2 space, but then they franchised or had like a partnership league, and now we kind of see the tier 2 side of that really fizzle away, right? So the esports space just feels a bit more like a ghost town outside of the top tier 1, which is kind of across the board with a lot of games, right? Call of Duty, Overwatch previously, the Call of Duty League, I think I just mentioned, League of Legends, all of those things kind of had their own franchise leagues. So it was a hard area to break into, right? And a hard area to participate in. But with the implementation of a RTS game where it's mostly based around 1 versus 1, it gives a lot of opportunity for players to be able to make their mark, right? You're going to see a lot more tournaments that are open bracket. You qualify for things a lot more. You get invited to things a lot more. There's not that same like barrier to entry that you'd see with a lot of the other games in the current space, right? So it's going to be exciting to watch because the storylines that come out of an RTS that we've seen back in StarCraft 2 are very captivating, right? You'll have an opportunity to see an absolute nobody that no one's ever heard of before rip through an open bracket of a tournament, beat, the current world champion, and then see him break into the scene, right? Get his opportunity, which is something that you just don't have the opportunity to see in the current landscape of esports, right? I was very fortunate. I played StarCraft 2 very competitively back in the day when it first came out in 2010 until 2013. Played for teams like Legion as a team captain of Ethics Open North America. I lived in Poland in a practice house, and it was what drove me to move to Korea. So I had the opportunity to see the esports landscape when StarCraft 2 was on top. And there's nothing that has come close to that level of competition and excitement and player-driven storylines that we've seen since then, right? So I'm incredibly excited for what's to come with Stormgate. Like I said, I've been playing it a lot. There's some criticism out there, and I think it's very unnecessary, right? Because as I just talked about earlier, the esports landscape is in a very weird spot. So we have a somewhat indie developer in Frost Giant coming through and trying to pave a new way, right? They haven't had to sell out to a major publisher yet, right? And they're doing everything through crowdfunding and investments and trying to maintain as much of their control as they can, right? And what we've seen in this current launch is that people are complaining that they said that they had it all funded and then did a Kickstarter, right? And that Kickstarter was because the game is going to be free to play. So that was an opportunity to give people the chance to buy beta keys if they haven't had one yet, and to also get a collector's edition of this game, which I thought was great. I backed it. It was like $260 Canadian. I backed it. I'm really happy with my decision to do so because I love the game. Did the same thing with Zero Space, right? Put my money where my mouth is, and we backed that bad boy up too, right? But there's a lot of backlash for their attempts to raise the capital here, and I think that's very misguided because, like I just said, the esports space is in a weird place, right? So if you want developers making good games and they don't want to sell out to the Activisions of the world where they're just money hungry and ruin good games, you have to get creative, right? You have to crowdfund. And us as consumers, we have to put our money where our mouth is, right? We have to be able to participate and help these companies out. I've seen a lot of people online just giving it a lot of shit. This game is in insanely early access, right? There's only 2 playable races. There's not even tier 3 units yet. There's not even a 3rd faction. There's pretty much only 1 ladder map in rotation at any given time. People are complaining about balance, but then we see within a week the balance of the game change because people figure the game out better, right? They're complaining about the graphics because there's placeholders because it's not fully developed yet. The sound, like same thing, not fully developed yet. And people want to sit here and get upset that this game is not fully developed, but like it's so far ahead of what it would have been if StarCraft 2 was in the same cycle of its development, right? We get a playable game that is playing really well. Like it is so much fun. I think most of the haters haven't had the chance to really sink their teeth into it because this game's phenomenal. So I really do think that it's something that's going to be important for the space coming up. And I really do think that it's going to resurge the RTS genre and esports back up to its former glory. And I know, like I said, there's other titles coming down the pipeline, right? So maybe Stormgate launches it, gets people excited for it, and another game comes and really takes it off. I think Stormgate's going to do that, but it'd be nice to see some competition, right? Because we haven't seen the esports space with 2 top RTS games vying for number 1 for the fan bases, right? You see that a lot with Counter-Strike and Valorant, or you see it with League of Legends and Dota, right? You get those kind of the comparisons with people that are keeping each other honorable in a sense, right? And it's going to be crazy to watch and see what happens, right? We've got Stormgate, we've got Zero Space, StarCraft 2 is still doing well, right? I do think it's going to slowly die off, unfortunately, after launch of Stormgate, but there's a lot coming down the pipeline for everything in the RTS genre. So if you're an RTS fan, get excited because I think this is going to be our time to shine, right? There's been a lot of first-person shooters in the limelight over the past few years, and now it's our turn. And I'm excited for it because clearly I'm a fan, right? Owner of Aftermath Esports. We got the Aftermath Brain Trust with Parting, Albino, Theory, and Baka, and we're going all in on this game, right? I planned that from the very beginning, something we talked about very early on, and I'm going to put every penny I can muster into Stormgate because I believe in what they're doing here. So yeah, if you're a fan of esports, if you're a fan of RTS, if you're just looking for something new, never played RTS before, pick it up. Enjoy the game. It's going to be free to play on launch, right? There's going to be a lot of more opportunities to pick up a beta key. You can actually go and purchase one right now if you'd like to get yourself into this beta round and every beta round to come afterwards. And yeah, I'm excited for it. I think everybody should be on top of this a lot more. And I think the haters really need to take a step back and realize that StarCraft 2 is a dying game because the developers let it die, right? So maybe it's time to back a company that is trying their best to make things work, right? Instead of criticizing them and getting upset about it, you should probably open up your horizons a little bit and realize that things have to change. This industry is changing. It's not the esports of old, but it's something that's exciting. It's going to be new. And I think in the long run, it's going to be great. So once again, if you're a fan of StarCraft, or if you're a fan of RTS, a fan of esports, if you're a fan of gaming, make sure to go and check this game out. You're going to enjoy it, and I can almost guarantee that. So thanks again for watching, guys. It was a kind of a quick little blurb, but I'm excited for the future of esports RTS, and I hope you guys are too. All right, take care.